Why does this game only have 52 reviews? Why does this game only have an all-time peak of 26 players playing it at a time? Well, now I have to make a video. Ugly is a hidden gem, one of the most hiddenest of the hidden gems. This is more hidden than your grandpa's dentures that I just threw out the window because you're not playing this game right now. Ugly is a 2D puzzle platformer with an amazing story, atmosphere, and creative mechanics. I've seen lots of people compare this to games like Braid or Swapper, but I haven't played those games, so I don't really have an opinion on that. But if I had to pick a game that I've played that it kind of reminds me of, it would be Little Nightmares. Except, it's not like Little Nightmares where it's a horror game, it's more like an eerie game. You're not going to be actively chased by a monster throughout the entire game or anything. It's more like you're seeing the aftermath of a monster wreaking havoc. Not to say that there aren't any enemies in the game though, there are bosses, but I'll get to that later. And since I can't think of a clever transition to the next topic, the gameplay here kind of sneaks up on you. It starts relatively simple. You get a mirror you can place down, and then you'll have a reflected version of yourself on the other side of the mirror that you can switch to. And it's a pretty interesting idea, and I'm surprised no other puzzle game has really done this yet. However, when I first started the game, I was getting kind of nervous that it would run out of steam after the first couple of hours, because although the mirror mechanic is pretty cool and you can do interesting stuff with it, it doesn't have enough depth on its own for it to really engage me until the end of the game. But I was very wrong, because they add a lot of different things to spice it up. There's like this pink stuff that if your reflected version of yourself is in that pink stuff, it won't allow you to teleport there. There's like these crystals that, unlike everything else in the game, your reflected self will actually make physical contact with them and can get stopped if he runs into it. And there's also a couple other stuff that kind of spices up the gameplay later on, but I don't want to spoil it. This game also has bosses, and they're honestly a highlight of the game in my opinion. Like, it was pretty unexpected. I didn't think they were going to be as good as they were. But the bad thing about these bosses, the thing that really holds them back from being truly amazing, is that they're too short. They're really just a fancy looking puzzle. And I really wish there was just more phases. Like, even if they just copy and pasted the same task like 3 times, like Mario games with their bosses, like I would be satisfied with that. It's just the fact that you just do one thing and the boss is dead, and that's it. The music and the character design on the boss and just the visuals as a whole, and like the mechanic that the boss is introducing or what you're doing to defeat the boss, it's just so good. But it ends so quickly. And on top of that, they're not really that hard either. Like, once you figure out what you're supposed to do, which isn't like too hard to figure out, like it's pretty easy, because then you just do it and then they're defeated. For one boss, however, or maybe it's 2, I don't know, but for one boss, I remember that you did have to do something 3 times in a row to defeat it, but it was still easy anyway, and I defeated the boss in like under 2 minutes. This is the main course right here. This is why you play the game. Although the gameplay is still great and the visuals are still great, you play it for the story and how they tell the story. Every single minute detail, from a portrait on a wall to a toy on the floor, even the piss stains in the carpet, all of these are used to tell the story of the game. And sometimes you're not even sure if it connects the story at all. Like, one time, I found this hidden room. I'm not gonna show where it is, but I found this hidden room where there was just this piano sitting in there, and that was it. It was just a tiny little room with a piano sitting in it with no purpose at all. I didn't get an achievement or anything. But that's what makes the story and the world just feel so good. You find these things that, like, I don't know what this means, but they're cool. It's cool anyway. And it really rewards people for looking deep into the game and finding all the little details that could hint at something in the story. And the story itself is also good. Like, wow, they did not need to go as crazy as they did with the story, and especially that ending. I don't have words to just I don't yeah. When you get there, you'll feel the same exact way. For the whole game, you're trying to find the deeper meaning for everything you're seeing, but when that ending hits, it hits. Normally with story-driven media like movies, TV shows, video games, if they start with a character waking up in a room and they're like, oh, I don't know how I got here, I just have a big eye roll, because it's been done to death. It's just kind of a lazy way to start something. Just get a little more creative, but it works here. I don't think it's done bad or anything. A little gripe I have though is that, since this isn't like a spoiler or anything, but the character, he's had to have been here before to get into that room, obviously. So I wish he reacted to things a little more, because most of the time the character you play as, he just has a blank expression on his face, and he only reacts to like danger and stuff. Like bosses, he'll have like a oh, whoa, ah, kind of expression on his face. Obviously, yeah, he would react like that. It's not a complaint, but I just wish he reacted a little more. And I know the whole thing is he forgot how he got here and he's trying to figure that out, but he still should react anyway. It's like, if I'm, you know, seeing this weird portrait on the wall, I'm gonna react to that. But that's still not a big complaint. It's kind of nitpicky. It's just something I noticed, and it would take a lot of work, since people who made this, it's a fairly small indie team. I just realized I haven't talked about the music at all yet, but it's good. It's really good. It fits the atmosphere and everything. It's just, especially in the boss battles, it really hits hard. I didn't have enough to say to warrant an entire section of the video dedicated to it. It's just good, and yeah, I'm not experienced in music reviewing, so I don't really know what else to add. And that's Ugly. There you go. Just a very passion-filled indie game that deserves way more attention than it has been getting, so just wanted to spread the word on it. Another thing I forgot to mention, it's because I didn't actually do it, is that there's endgame content in this game. It's split into 3 parts, but part 1 is like the main thing. Like, after part 1 you can stop playing and it's a complete story, but part 2 and 3, it's like endgame content. I didn't play it yet because I wanted to just get this video out. I have some other stuff I want to do. I want to get one more video out before Halloween, and then I'll make some Halloween themed video probably, and then, well, whatever comes from there. So yeah, from what I've heard, the endgame content's way harder from part 1, and I actually, part 1 was pretty hard in my opinion. Like, the end of part 1, it got pretty hard. So yeah, I'll definitely play it at some point, but not right now, because that's another review. Have a good day or night, depending on when you're watching this, and go play Ugly. Hey guys, it's me, Ryan Reynolds. Make sure to subscribe.